Hey guys, it's Angel. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're checking out another famous flyer. This is Carenado's Beechcraft Bonanza, the V-Tail Classic V35B, and this is one I'm actually pretty excited about. I love the Bonanza. We did get one released, of course, from another developer, but Carenado's lines and texturing is stunning. That's always one we like. And praise the dogs. This is one with a Carenado plane where you can use your actual pilot avatar from the sim, rather than Grumpy and Grumpy Jr. So, what is the Bonanza? The Bonanza, of course, built in 1947 by the Beech Aircraft Corporation of Wichita, Kansas, and it is a 6-seat aircraft, and 17,000 of all their variations have been built, so they're pretty common, and this is the Model 35. This is the classic V-tail here, known also as the Doctor Killer, for good reason. This is the V35B. So this variation is between 1970 and 1982. Improvements over the A model, had an internal redesign in 72 and a new 24-volt electric system, powered by an IO520B or the TSIO 520D. These will be putting out a reasonable amount of horsepower in, I think it's the 250, 225 kind of radius. So let's take a quick look. This is, of course, the more modern variations, obviously different power performances. I'm guesstimating based on memory there. I believe it's about 230 horsepower in the V35B. It might be 180. I could be talking out of my behind, but those are my best recollections, unfortunately. Yeah. Either way, this is one of those ones I'm trying to do quickly because it's just come out, and we need to check this out to see if it's worth picking up. So, 9 liveries, including a plain white one, and the Xbox and Aviators Club ones we don't really pay attention to. And once we get on the ground, we have what we expect from Carenado. This is a beautifully textured, beautifully modelled aircraft, as always with their aircraft. I struggle to find real visual criticism with them in general. They do a darn good job. Look at that. It looks great. And I do love my landing gear. Visually good. Now, of course, being a famous flyer, we do not have Carenado's usual suite of chocks and ground candy, pitot covers, etc. Unfortunately, that may come one day when Xbox could support the WASM gauges, or the other ways around, they'll do those state-saving and or other features like tablets. But we do know the Carenado famous flyers do not include a tablet. So it's basically kind of raw. This is coming out for about £12, or about $15, I believe. And inside you get the usual features one would expect. We have our clicky-clicky windows. We have our clicky-clicky doors. We have, unfortunately, only 2-stage sun visors, which is unpleasant. I prefer having those being an actual drag where you want it to be. Now, you cannot see your co-pilot in the first-person view, which some people like. Some people, that's a deal killer if you can't do it. For me, it looks like I've got a inflatable dummy sat next to me. They don't look real. So I'd rather it be empty inside. Now, when it comes to the outside, obviously, you are using your actual pilot avatar. You selected a Sobo. Apparently I have my twin with me as well. I should change that, I think. Either way, inside, we have a gorgeous rendition of the Bonanza cockpit. Now, this is the single with the throw-over yoke. We have, of course, various electrics down here. Cowl flaps there, which if we push that in, and then go down. Did I just open those or close those? I think I closed those. So if we go up here again and we pull this out of the way, and we pull that open, they are now open. Fantastic. So, click that out of the way. Usual functionality here. We have our fuel tank selected down there. We have OAT on the side. Yaw damper to go with our autopilot system, which is altitude is set here. And on the radio stack over here, we have the actual autopilot cap 150. Can't click the glove box, unfortunately. Cannot click the fuses. We don't expect that with a Carenado. A lot of features there, but don't really do anything. Obviously, that's our fuel pumps here. I'm liking the really good mixture of avionics in this one. Now, this is, of course, what we expect from a Carenado plane. It looks exactly like one would expect to see that. And yeah, unfortunately, there aren't a lot of sweetening features, but we've come to expect these to be stripped-down variations of what we would normally get. Do we at least have other views? If I could reach round my microphone, we'll do that. We do have other views, so including sticking our head through the ceiling, you know, from when you've just got a particularly big microburst. A fuel tank selector one is great because you can just look straight down there. I actually quite like that. Let's take her out for a spin, shall we, and see how she performs. The Bonanza is known to be quite a fun aircraft, so we should hopefully get a good bit of excitement from this. Okay, everything is set correctly, as I'm expecting it to be. Of course, if your boost pumps are under there. Clear prop. Now, unfortunately, we are flying today with me using a hat switch. I do apologise, folks, but my head tracking does not like it when the sun is blazing through my window. I either need to get blackout curtains or bricks. One of the two. Just a matter of how infrared light actually reacts with, oh, unfortunately, the massive infrared light source, the sun. I really wish I had better curtains, but that's me fault. So, engine sound-wise, let's just pull the boost pumps off for the sake of audio appreciation here, rather than it being a matter of accuracy of how we should be flying this aircraft and leaving the pumps on for takeoff and landing. Internal sounds are kind of standard. We do get increased sound when we open the window. And when we open the door. They're kind of tinny, they're not fantastic. But they're also not awful. So, merrily on the fence with that one. They're not exactly something I hate, they're not something I'm overjoyed with, so I can take it or leave it when it comes to the sounds in this. The Carenado sounds I like to think of as generally good enough. I know my engine's operating and it sounds like I'm in an aeroplane. Is it exactly that type of aeroplane down to that model year and engine type? Probably not. But I'll take it, because in a lot of cases, aircraft like the Bonanza are planes I quite enjoy flying. And yeah, there can be variation in accuracy when it comes to flight model, but in terms of a pretty plane to fly and enjoy the gorgeous sim we have here, I think they're worth it often. Especially ones without Grumpy and Grumpy Jr. Okay, so we're on the runway, here 34 at Orcas Island. Let's give it a kick, and we'll see where we go. Now this was the famous flyer delayed from the previous world update, of course. Oh, she gained air really fast there. Woo! And I'm drifting to the side of the runway. That's unusual behaviour, considering the weather's meant to be no wind today, again, so a hardcore drift that side. But we picked it up okay. She seemed to leap into the sky very quickly, so that's a little unusual, perhaps. Like, I wasn't going that fast at all when we got that, so we'll check that out in a minute. Now, we'll pop outside real quick and take a look at the landing gear here, as we bring that up. Standard animation we'd expect. Nice and simple. Just get the nose down here. Pull the power back slightly. Pull our RPM back as well. Again, sorry for the hat switch flying today. It is an unfortunate side effect of the sun trying to enter my office the same way a Texan might enter a barbecue restaurant. With brute force and angry hunger. Yeah. I know a Texan, they would agree with that. Anyway, moving on. It's what we expect from a Carenado plane. I don't think I could say a huge amount about that. She flies decently. The general kind of atmospheric sounds in the aircraft are good. Do we get any... Oh, she does not like that at all. I'm slamming those rudder pedals back and forth, trying to get it to do something unusual. Yep. Okay, unusual is what we're doing. Oh, I just got the Dr. Killer to kill me. Oh, nice. That definitely wrecked me. Okay, don't constantly slap the rudders back and forth until it spins, because I entered a flat spin. I was not getting out of that. I tried my usual spin recovery method there, did nothing. So we're back here at Orcas Island. I'm quite impressed, actually, this allowed me to induce a flat spin. It did look like a flat spin because my nose was down, but there was no recovery from that. I throttled back, I kicked opposite rudder, and I tried to basically force myself out of the spin the way you normally would, which is normally a fairly robotic and automatic reaction, and it didn't want to. So we have one stage of flaps here. We're going to take off again, because I want to see what she's doing this time, because that was really weird at last takeoff. It felt like it jumped up way too early. So let's keep ourselves as centered as we can. Okay, we're reaching stall speed and it's coming up. Okay, it leaps into the air pretty quickly. It feels like it just wants to escape the ground instantly, which is quite weird. Not sure about that, actually. Okay, pull that up. Okay, let's power back to climb. So, no inducing a spin there. And I was literally soaring back and forth on the rudder pedals, by the way. So, not something you'll experience during normal flight, but I was trying to see what it would do. Because the Bonanza, with its combined rudder and elevator, obviously has some unique tendencies. And they were known to get people in trouble. I figured we'll see if we can get in trouble. And the answer is yes, you can. Again, standard spin recovery did nothing for that, so... It felt like a flat spin, but facing down. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's the way I could describe it. Either way, we are going to get ourselves around here. We're going to come in for a landing approach, see how she behaves on landing compared to takeoff. Now, it picks up speed relatively quickly. The takeoff, again, feels really bubbly and super quick. Could be a tendency of the Bonanza. I'm not sure. I've never flown a Bonanza. Would love to. They're a gorgeous car. I like the Cadillac of the sky. In terms of GA aircraft. The Cessna is very much your Buick. The Piper is, I'd say, the mid-size family sedan. And the Bonanzas, they're the Caddy. The Beechcraft are the Caddies, definitely. Okay, so we're coming over the mountain now. We're going to get ourselves down here just on the far side. I'm going to power back and see how she actually loses. Okay, so I'm going to flight idle here. Full fine on the prop. And we're going to maintain if slightly descend here and see how well we lose speed. Now we're under flap extension speed and gear speed, so that's absolutely fine. So I will do that. I've got my gear down here. No problems at all. Speed's coming down now relatively reliably, and I am descending about 300 feet a minute. We'll make our base to final turn in a moment once we get down to the dogleg in the lake. We'll probably have to come back across. It's a very narrow pattern I take. Every time I fly here at Orcus, I end up making my pattern super tight. So let's kick it across here. We'll give it a notch of flaps. We'll pull the power all the way back here. Make sure we can actually descend. Okay, base turn good. Bleeding speed really well. And we'll start our turn now for final. Visual marks 10, as always. I don't think there's a problem with that. Function, it's a famous flyer, so function here is going to be a 6 or a 7. You don't really get a lot. Carenado aircraft are kind of made more, I think, valuable by the tablet, by the candy features, by the fact you can take a GTN 750. The famous flyers get rid of that. They are cheaper. Same price as always, but again, compared to some of the recent famous flyers we've had with some of the Italian flying boats and other weirdnesses we've had released, could be a lot worse. Could be considerably worse. It is at least functional and looks nice and operates well. Okay, we are 2 stages of flaps here. Set up on final and keep my nose at the right attitude here. Keep it around 65. Oh, we're on the edge of stall. Let's pull that power up there. We don't want that. That was a very reedy little stall, like it was teetering on the edge of the 5-10 knot margin we had. Alright, let's point our nose down more at the runway. Something I always forget to do because I'm always trying to think about my wing angle rather than my aircraft angle. I keep forgetting some GA aircraft like to fly like this. Okay, power back. Keep it centered. Drifting to the right. It's a little bit wobbly today, it feels like. Okay, just fly her down. No. Not till I tell you to. Okay, there we go. Yeah, pretty slow approach. It touched down on the right main first, then both wheels. I don't know, it feels like it's a little windy today, even though it's not. I don't know why that is, but I've been getting stranger and stranger weather at Orcas Island and air behaviour for a while now. Other airports don't seem to do it, but for some reason I always get it to happen here at Orcas. So we'll bring her in now. It always seems to tell us we've got a crosswind, even though we've not. It's weird. Either way, you get exactly what you'd expect to get with this aircraft. It's the Carenado plane. They're very root. Although with the dramatic improvement of the default pilots, which is something they could do with their own releases, if only they just did that. That would be wonderful. You know, add a check mark, use the Sobo pilots. Boom. Happy days. I think they'd actually gain more customers doing that. That's one thing we've noticed from people who've purchased the Carenado Famous Flyers, is they love that feature. Carenado, if you're listening, please do it. It would be great. We have visual and audio difference when we open the windows and doors. We have functioning and decent controls. Obviously, you can switch out the working title 5530 for the stock one if you have had that mod installed, so that helps. Otherwise, it is a skin-deep simulation of the Bonanza, which is what we expected. Nothing beyond that, but at least that skin-deep simulation is very pretty. And oh, hello, that's really weird on the throttle. See how it's bouncing in and out of itself? There we go. I think this is definitely a valid purchase. I don't feel any disappointment about it. In fact, it's the kind of aircraft that I would like to fly. And you get a decent volume of liveries and options and features. Worth it, I would say, in general, for what one expects to get. So, enjoy, have a great weekend, and I will see you all very soon. Bye!